you and James on like the last hour on Tuesday were talking about how you agree with the draft, and I do not.
Okay.
I went to school about 10 miles down the road from Fort Riley, and those guys would come back from Nam with their combat pay, and were like buying really nice muscle cars. And you would see, and this is more than I saw this several times, ETS 21 days. And then, I think they probably use like tempera paint or something on the back window. 20 days, 19 days, and then they disappeared. You're going to get unmotivated people. And I don't think people are going to be real happy about, getting shot out for $20,000 a year.
I agree, Mike, and that's why we need a draft. The countries that don't have drafts have all-volunteer armies, and all-volunteer armies tend to be quite gung-ho. And you want soldiers saying, and this is what happened with Vietnam. I mean, one of the things that forced Lyndon Johnson to sue the Vietnamese for peace, even though Nixon blew it up, but one of the things that forced him to do it was you had all these fragging incidents. You had soldiers refusing to go. Right. You had people were seriously pissed off. That's a good thing. Right.
Well, I was going to mention fragging. They just had.
I don't mean fragging is a good thing, but what I mean is that when you have a country that has a draft and you have an unpopular war, you're going to get a hell of a lot of blowback. If you have a country that has an all-volunteer army and you have a BS unpopular war like the invasion of Iraq or Afghanistan, then everybody's gung-ho. There is no internal. You don't have the average American in the military. And my argument, and I think that the greatest generation, my father's generation, and frankly mine, people who confronted Vietnam, prove that. That when you have average people in the military, it improves the military, but it also forces politicians to reckon with popular opinion around decisions of war and peace.
Right. So maybe I misunderstand. You. You are in favor of a draft.
That's correct.
Or not? That's where I don't agree with you.
Yeah, no, I got that. That's where we started.
Right, because you will not get motivated people. They're going to be angry that you're.
That's what I want.
Them off of the farm.
I do not. I don't want a bunch of gung ho warriors to make up 100% of our military. I want there to be skeptics. I want there to be poets. I want there to be philosophers. I want there to be musicians. I want there to be people who are questioning what's going on. I realize that in military culture there are limits to how much you can question, but I think it's really important that you have a diverse military, not just racially or culturally diverse, but politically diverse. And when you have an all-volunteer army, you tend to have a bunch of gung-ho right-wingers in the military. And somebody says go shoot somebody, they're like, okay, we're on our way. Whereas when you've got a draft, when you've got a military that's made up of conscripts, you've got people who are going to decide for themselves whether this is a legitimate war. And in Vietnam, you had, an awful lot of the opposition to the Vietnam War was driven by people like John Kerry, who had been to Vietnam. On the other hand, with World War II, a lot of the support for World War II came from families who had people serving in World War II. Because World War II was, arguably what you call a just war, and Vietnam was arguably what you call BS.
Absolutely.
So therefore, you want a draft. A draft is going to give you that flywheel. It's going to give you that regulator. It's going to give you people in the military who are questioning, what's going on. Mike, I got to run, but we both made our points.
I will disagree with you now until hell breaks.
That's quite all right, Mike. That's your prerogative. Thanks a lot for the call. It's 45 minutes past the hour. We'll be right back.